All right, welcome back to the channel, everyone. Hopefully you guys are having a great rest of your day, start to your day, whatever time it may be. And in this video, we are going to be figuring out how much faster an E85 tuned S650 Mustang GT is compared to a stock tuned Mustang GT from the same generation. If you guys enjoy the content, feel free, drop a like on the vid, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those post notifications so you can stay up to date. Now, this is very important because a lot of people are wondering if a tune is worth it. From my personal experience, the tune on the S650 Mustang GT, specifically the manual, the MT82, completely woke up the car. We're going to be doing some 60 to 130 testing. As you can see, the car is still on the stock wheels and tires. We have a full drag pack coming. When the wheels arrive, we will get that on the car and we're gonna retest. You can see the interior right here. I do have the back seat back removed, but the bottoms are still here. I have not weighed this car, but it's not far from full weight. It's probably like, I don't know, 30 pounds lighter than full weight. As far as engine modifications, it is a stock car. The only thing we have done is remove the carbon traps, which I think 99.9% of owners have already done. This car still has the stock manifolds, still has cats. We have an H-pipe resonator delete from Steeda, and this car does have the active exhaust. And obviously an E85 tune from Rob Shoemaker. We're gonna see what this car can do. We're gonna be doing a third gear hit and then a couple second gear hits. The car theoretically should go faster leaving in second gear. That was the case on the stock file. Third gear is very long, kind of awkwardly long, so I'm kind of curious to see exactly what it goes to with the stock wheel and tire height. I think we're gonna get to like 120 something and then shift and immediately hit 130. I think the car is gonna run like mid 10s, maybe high 10, 60 to 130. Could go faster, but we shall see. All right. Got that ghost cam tune. Sounds pretty good. Again, I'm not one really for a ghost cam, but sounds alright. We're gonna see what this car can do. I wonder if it's actually gonna run faster than the Shelby GT350 ran stock. Because I have that draggy data as well. I have draggy data for every car that I've bought stock and even modified. So I'm really curious to where this car is going to be standing. I've already ran up against another E85 tuned S650. I ran up against a Headers E85 S550. I need to get some more runs in, but I'm waiting on some modifications. I want to go ahead and get my drag pack, and I am going to be doing a cat delete, maybe headers. I do want to twin turbo this vehicle, so it's kind of why I don't really care to do headers, because it technically would be a waste. But depending on what this car can do on the street and also what it draggies, I might be inclined to do headers. We're gonna be doing all the runs in drag strip mode because that's the mode where I personally feel the engagement is the best. Clutch protection has been turned off. So if you are unaware, these cars do have clutch protection on the stock tune. That has been removed for all modes, but I personally feel it could be a placebo. That drag still feels the best. I'm going to be doing some hits leaving at 7,800 RPM, 77, as well as one leaving at 75 to see if the car actually does get quicker with the higher rev limit. Because if it doesn't get faster, if it gets slower, obviously shifting at 75 is going to be the best bet. It's quite literally a waste past that. So we're gonna be finding that out in this video as well. Hopefully we have plenty of space to do so. Otherwise, that might be a different video in itself, because I feel like that might actually be important to know. Is having the raised rev limiter actually doing anything if the car is essentially stock? Long tube headers, it might make a difference. It theoretically should, but we'll see. I'm gonna do a test hit just to warm up the tires a little bit, because it does spin from second to third. It chirps the tires a little bit, which I know is going to impact the time, but it's not a big deal. Let's make sure we're good first. I feel like a little 55 hit. I'm not going to ring this out, just to warm up the tires, or 60. As you can hear, it goes. It chirps the tires now. Car feels great though on E85, I'll tell you that right now. But the first drag, I'm gonna do a third gear. I'm gonna let this third gear run to like 78, 79 and then shift, because I'm really curious to see what it's gonna drag. If it can drag you like a 10.5 or faster, that's gonna be really interesting, because typically third gear is, from what I have tested, about half a gear slower than leaving in second, believe it or not, with the MT82 D4 and the 355 rear end gears. I know a lot of people have commented to say to go to 410s. I think 373s would be better for this car if I was to keep it NA, but boosted 355s I think would be good, but we'll see. But 100% agree with y'all, the gearing is incredibly long, and it's honestly kind of awkwardly long, because third gear is way too long in my personal opinion. It is way too long.
A few moments later.
Let's do it. The video wasn't working on the drag yet, but I'm curious what it ran. Alright, so the car did go faster, not by much though, but the DA is actually more than double the last time that I did draggy the car. So that is gonna make a difference. And I wanted to see what third gear would ring out to. The car, like racing this car in third gear, that's what I feel like a lot of people make a mistake. Like doing 60 rows in third with an MT82 Mustang, like, oh, you just can't do that. It's just too long, and the car, it's not in power whatsoever. So second gear, I have a feeling we're going to see a massive improvement with the time leaving in second gear compared to leaving in third, because third gear is just, it's really not it. Fast in second gear, so I had that little kind of like the hiccup. All right, so I have to roll my windows down, so you know what, I'll roll them up just so y'all can hear me. All right, so the car did actually run a significantly faster time leaving in second. I did rev it out to like 78. It might not be audible and mid, but I did kind of feel the protection a little bit, especially kind of going into third, as well as going into fourth. But right now I'm gonna do another draggy. I'm gonna shift it at 7,500 both times to see if we can get a little bit quicker. On the chart, it did show that I went up a mountain, which I'm not too sure why, because I've used the same road every single time that I've done a draggy and the slope has never been like that. So I'm not too sure what was going on there, but the times make sense in this air with the mods that this car does have. And I do believe if I had the same air that I draggied the Shelby GT 350 in when it was bone stock, this would have went faster, probably a good bit faster. It is like right on the money on where I thought it was going to run. I didn't know the DA was 2100 and it's like almost 90 out, so you have to keep that in mind as well. And I am running on the stock wheels and tires, which are not hooking, but I am happy with the times in this air and what's done with the car. It's already proven itself to me because I've already went ahead and raced it. So, you know, only thing I can do now is run up against some other cars that I think would be around the same time in this air to see how the car stacks up against. Obviously, we're gonna be doing mods, but the car is, for the most part, I think this is actually pretty damn good. And I forgot to roll my window up. All right, so it ran the same exact time as it did shifting at 78. I went a little bit further than 75. I mean, I'm saying it's kind of, now it's kind of hard to get back into that mindset shifting at 75. I'm gonna do another hit just to see if I feel anything. I felt just a little bit, but it wasn't nearly as bad. You can kind of see it on the chart. I'm gonna go over the chart in this video as well when I get back to the crib, but it went the exact same 60 to 130, the exact same 60 to 130, which is very, very interesting. This car is consistent, so it doesn't matter if you are shifting at 75, 76 versus like 78, upwards of 8,000, it doesn't matter. It's going to be consistent, which I think is quite interesting. In my personal opinion, there is something going on with like the clutch protection. I honestly think the only way to get rid of all that entirely is to replace the clutch. What the hell? Is to replace the clutch and go with a better unit. Now, obviously, because, you know, this is, you know, a bolt-on car, yeah, I plan on boosting it, but I'm a firm believer that if you're going to install a clutch, you want to install a clutch that is going to support the horsepower that the car is currently making. So I'm not going to get like a crazy clutch at all. I'm going to get a clutch that realistically, you know, is going to support like 600 foot-pounds of torque, something like that, or like 600 wheel at most. Something that's going to be, you know, relatively inexpensive, that can hopefully override that feeling. If you have a different clutch in your I almost said Shelby GT350. If you have a different clutch in your S650 Mustang GT with an MT82, let me know down in the comment section what you have and what you enjoy, because I know not that many people have upgraded their clutches, especially if they are all motor. But I think with tuning becoming, you know, more popular now with this platform, people are going to start noticing that the clutch protection, they say it's turned off. I mean, it's consistent times, but I personally feel that there's something going on. I'm gonna do a hit. I'm gonna shift it at 75 and see if I notice anything. Yeah, like right there. It was great. Like, that felt amazing. fun too. I don't know. Because I know I shifted there in the video. All right, it's a couple days later, back at the casa, and we are gonna be going over the draggy times with the E85 tune versus the draggy times on stock tune 93. The reason we're gonna go ahead and do that is because the cars were draggy around the same time of the year as well as similar DA. That's gonna be very important. Both of these times I'm about to go ahead and show are positive 2000 plus DA as well as over 80 degrees outside. So it is gonna be an apples to apples comparison. Now, the stock times that the S650 Mustang GT ran, this is with the carbon traps in the car. So it's gonna be a fully stock car if you were to go ahead and get it from the dealership and do an H-pipe resonator delete. The S650 ran a 12.39, 60 to 130, 82 degrees outside with positive 2057 DA. Not the best 60 to 130, but in all reality, it makes sense for a stock MT82 manual Mustang that is essentially full weight. I did go ahead and have the backseat back at the time when I did do the stock file, but the most important thing to kind of realize here is the weather was the same. We're gonna have 80 plus degree temps, 2000 plus DA, still on the stock wheels and tires. That is what you can roughly see a lot of these cars run. They're gonna be within like that 11 to 12 second 60 to 130 time. Nothing crazy, nothing fast, but at the end of the day, that is going to be what an MT82 S650 is going to run in that air. Now, on the E85 tune, this is going to be 82 degrees outside, 2,118 feet DA. The car ran a 10.71 with a positive 0.79 slope. That is essentially going to be the same setup, except it is tuned on E85 with the carbon traps removed. Now, if you know anything about air, DA, and essentially what E85 does, that is a massive, massive improvement 60 to 130 wise. That is bus lengths different. If you were to go ahead and race a stock S650 Mustang GT versus an E85 tune only Mustang GT, same wheels, same tires, it would be bus lengths apart. And in my personal opinion, if you have an MT82 Mustang GT that is a Gen 4 Coyote, getting a tune on E85, if you have E85 in your area, is probably one of the best things you can do, if not the best thing you can do to your vehicle, because that is going to be an immediate improvement and you're going to notice it immediately. It's not like going ahead and doing headers and stuff like that. It's going to be for sound and obviously for improvement, but just a tune only, for it to drop almost 2 seconds is massive, and that is a step in the right direction in my personal opinion. Yes, I know there could be outliers of other cars going faster, could be outliers of other cars going slower. I've seen Gen 3 cars, seen a couple of them go ahead and run the same times, tune only on E85, but from a 12 second 60 to 130 to a 10 second 60 to 130, that is massive. Super happy with how the car is performing so far. And this Rob Shoemaker tune, I think it's putting in some serious work. Now, I actually have some more runs with the S650 the way it is right now. That's going to be going up on the channel very shortly. So if you guys are excited to see all that, feel free, drop a like on the vid, subscribe to the channel, turn on those post notifications to stay up to date. Remember, we are going to be doing some additional modifications with this vehicle. We're going to be doing a cat delete, and we're also going to be going ahead and doing wheels and tires, specifically a drag pack, and we are going to be taking out all the seats to see exactly how much of an improvement that does as well. I do believe we're going to be able to get into the 9s after all that is done. And as far as bolt-on modifications, I think that's where I'm going to keep the car as of right now, unless there's going to be some type of new intake manifold or a new cold air intake that's going to be making a massive improvement. I think I'm going to be very happy with the Cat Elite E85 weight reduction combination until we go ahead and put some twin turbos on this vehicle, because then we're really going to be going ahead and making some power and cutting that time, you know, more than 50%, literally. I'm really curious to see if we can get this car faster than the Shelby GT350, roughly around the same power, because the Shelby GT350 right now is making right around 900 wheel horsepower. This is making right around 450 wheel horsepower. So once this car makes 900 horsepower, I'm going to go ahead and compare the two. And honestly, I do believe the S650 is going to run significantly faster due to the weight, and considering the fact that just a tune-only S650 that makes less power and arguably worse gear ratio than the Shelby GT350 has is, you know, actually almost just as fast as a stock Shelby GT350, because I'm going to go ahead and showcase those times on the screen right now. The S650s are not duds. I don't care what anybody says. I don't think these are duds, because on paper it doesn't really make any sense, but when you go ahead and run them actually on the street against other cars, it's like, dude, what is going on? The fact that these cars can keep up with full bolt-on Gen 3 cars on E85, again, you're going to be seeing that video on the channel very soon, goes to show you that these S650s, the MT82 specifically, I think they're a little bit more stout than the Gen 3s. Now, if you have a full bolt-on Gen 3 Mustang MT82 and you want to go ahead and line up with the, I almost said the Shelby GT350. If you want to line up with the S650, reach out to me on Instagram. I definitely want to go ahead and see that comparison so I can go ahead and, you know, have that data. But yeah, y'all enjoy. Drop a like on the vid, subscribe to the channel, turn those post notifications. It's been your boy Ears so far. Super happy with the S650 with the Rob Shoemaker tune. Same tuner who's tuned the Shelby GT50, and y'all know, you know, this car is keeping up with 1,000+ horsepower cars, which is insane to me. Absolutely insane. That G3R is putting in work. The ESS kits, you know, there's already a mock-up kit that's on a car right now. Maybe imagine an ESS G3R on this car. Oh my God, that would actually be, that'd be insane. That'd be insane. I would do that, but I still want to put a twin turbo kit on this car. But if that G3R really is the real deal on this, hey, we might have to go ahead and make that happen as well.